Today, we're joined by Mario Berta of Flyspaces. He's an Italian living in Manila for a number of years. He has been heavily involved in the tech scene here, and Flyspaces can help you with flexible office solutions in Manila and Southeast Asia.
I'm Mario Berta. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Flyspaces. We self-brand ourselves the Airbnb for office space, but we are a marketplace for flexible office spaces. I was previously in Rocket Internet, in various ventures with them. And now I decided to be an entrepreneur, so I spun off from the group and decided to build my own company. We've been operating for about 2 years now. We started off of the Philippines. We are a true regional Filipino company. And then we quickly roll out in various countries in Southeast Asia. So we are actively in 5 countries right now. I've been in the Philippines for about 6 years, and I landed here first because I was a consultant to the government. And after that, I moved to Hong Kong, and then I moved back here. I would say it's always more fun in the Philippines. To start, there are various reasons. I actually can elaborate a lot on this. That when I decided to be an entrepreneur, actually every entrepreneur should be looking at burn rate of the company. So how costly is your living, and how costly is your company expenses, right? And Philippines is just an extremely capital efficient place to run company. The cost of entrepreneurship here is very low. If I were an entrepreneur in Singapore, even my personal expenses will probably be 3-4 times higher than what I have now, right? So I think Singapore, it's a prohibitive cost. It's a prohibitive city for entrepreneur, unless you work in finance, banking, or specifically industries, where obviously Singapore and Hong Kong leading the way because of technology or easy place to do business. So first of all, obviously, it's burn rate, and second is talent. Philippines doesn't lack talent at all. I think actually Filipinos are the most trainable people in the planet. I had teams from any sort of gender, religion, age frame, etc. We'll probably say the Filipinos are among the top, easy to train. I think that the model of Rocket itself is not that it's different because it's Philippines or because it's Vietnam. It's just connecting the dots between solving problems in a very technological way. I think the Rocket playbook applied here is what actually kick off a tech entrepreneurship ecosystem in the Philippines, as we did in Vietnam, as we did in Indonesia, right? So we were, our companies here, Lazada, Zalora, Easy Taxi, Carmudi, Lamudi, Foodpanda, were the really first tech success stories in the Philippines. And he actually create alumni, meaning that there were people that were working maybe in a call center, a high level. They join, let's say, Lazada or Easy Taxi, the company I was managing. And then, they decided, oh my God, tech entrepreneurship is actually something very meaningful. And now they are tech funders themselves, right? So they went from a very traditional business to tech entrepreneurship through a big companies. Then they are entrepreneurs themselves. A little bit what I did, right? So I think that the Rocket impact into the ecosystems here was mostly on training people in thinking in a very different way. They grow hand by hand, right? The more tech startups they need IT talents, the more talents you will be trained, will be fine, etc. I think finding developers, like IT developer per se, is relatively complex, but it's complex all over Southeast Asia, right? Because it's a relatively new industry, right? So that's relatively complex. But on the more technical side, other than actually UX and UI developer, I think it's plenty of talent because, again, because of the IT BPO industry, they create a cluster. So once you have a cluster, it's easy to find talent. It's easy to find, supplier from wire cable to phone handset to booth to any sort of what the clusters needs to live and breathe, right? So I think absolutely Philippines is the best cluster for IT, BPO, outsourcing industry in Southeast Asia. There's no doubt about it. Let's take a company like TaskUs, right? So TaskUs is helping Californian unicorn companies with their outsourcing processes. Where are they based? Here in the Philippines. right? So I don't think the startup world is somehow overlapping with the IT. They're growing together, right? Obviously, the IT here started with the big investment of the big guys, but then from there start to be spin-off even in the call center itself, right? So startup within the call center itself. So that's creating a new pool of talent that we haven't seen before, right? So I think it's absolutely in the rise. I totally see outsourcing as a business super affordable for any company, let's say the westernized world. I was myself looking to invest in a very small boutique outsourcing company that they don't do the usual inbound or outbound voice, but they are positioning themselves in a high value product like graphic design or translations. Content marketing, right? So my Flyspaces team here is mostly based in the Philippines, and all our English operations actually run from here. I have a fantastic team of content marketing people, graphic design people, which will be extremely expensive in other parts of the world. Well, I think obviously if you incorporate, unfortunately, Philippines doesn't score very high on easy place for business, but it's not that difficult, right? You get a law firm, there are plenty, specialize in doing this. They charge you relative good fees, and you will incorporate. There is no foreign ownership restriction, which is very important to understand this aspect. So can be 100% foreign owned. We know massive entry restrictions like paid up capital. So for instance, if you want to open a retail business, you'll need to inject $3 million, $2.5 million. That's obviously is the startup cost goes high, right? So my suggestion would be that you start with a staff leasing company. Again, there is plenty of good players here that can offer you either a markup or simply a hiring fee every month over the resources you want to hire. But then I think once you reach scale, and by scale I mean 50 seats plus, you might want to look at incorporating your own, having your own HR, etc. Because you adding layers of cost, right? So I'm not an expert in this, but I will say like 50 is the threshold. Above 50, you should definitely looking at incorporating. Now, if you want to look to incorporate, it will take you approximately 1.5 to 2 months by providing all the documents. You just need to go to a lot of papers, but then it's not impossible. It's actually very, very easy to do. Right? The next step would be the office, obviously, right? On the office space, a company like Flyspaces, that's what we do. So we help companies that need flexible office spaces to set up shops in the countries. We do this in 5 countries, specifically in the Philippines. We cover Manila and Cebu. And we have offices all over town. So from the Quezon City, which is the northern part of town, to, let's say, the old Manila part of town, because, a lot of customers, they want to base the office space close to their employees' homes, which is actually a good point to increase employees' retention. But some other customer, like maybe for the big Fortune 500 companies, they like to stay in the CBD area because they want to keep certain image across, all their offices around the world. We're not an outsourcing company, but a lot of things that Flyspaces does regionally are technically outsourced from our company here, right? So a marketing manager here, a marketing manager with 4 or 5 years experience, okay, coming out from a decent background, will cost you approximately $1,500 to minimum up, right? So content marketing and content writer are actually very good and extremely cheap. We're talking about $700, we're talking gross. Right? So you can already see the advantages, right? A content marketer in London can cost you £5,000 to £6,000, right? Then we go down to ops, right? So ops managers or messengers, like lower skills job can cost anywhere between 500 to 400. The minimum, I guess, for government is 350. But then you need to gross it up for some taxes and some benefit, okay? But these are the salary range we're looking at it. Now, what is getting a little more competitive and expensive are the middle and upper manager, because there is a lot of demand. So Fortune 500 companies, they're setting a shop here, they have bigger budget, and they want to take the best people. Rocket companies, they're taking the best people. The well-financed companies like us in the Philippines, we bet for the best people, right? And these people are trying to, they start to be on the higher end of the fork. So managers that manage a team of 20, 30, 40 people, they will arrive at a salary range of $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. So the fork is very big, right? So the middle lower, they get extremely low salary, but the one on the upper side of the fork, the salary spikes. It's an excellent question. So in my business school, when we do some seminar every year with Granularity University, which they study, future trend and how certain business are gonna be completely disrupted. We always scratch our head when we talk about how is artificial intelligence, automations, and robotics going to impact traditional businesses. And of course, automation will have a huge impact on the outsourcing industry, right? What I sense is that the impact will happen in the lower end or the unskilled job, the typical blue collar. So people are talking about $300, $400, $500. They do very simple tasks that we can be easily automated by computers. So it minimize the human mistakes, also minimize strikes and Christmas holidays and these sort of things. But the higher end jobs, I think they will be way more difficult to disrupt. I'm not an expert, I'm not a futurist, but I think companies that looking into this in the future, Western world having the cheap labor in an outsourced country, it's already happening. It's a fact. I think that all the biggest company in the world, they already know the Philippines is an established market, but I think there is a tremendous opportunity with the regular SMEs in the UK, in Europe, in the United States, that before they always thought, outsourcing is expensive, I don't know how to do it, the entry costs are very expensive, Philippines, my God, it's a dangerous country. So these are completely misconceptions, obviously, about the Philippines. I think it's one of the best places to do outsourcing at any stage of your company. So you can be a digital marketing agency based in London, boutique, with 5 or 6 clients, and having a team of 10, a team of 5 here doing content marketing, doing Facebook posting on behalf of your clients. Absolutely not. So I think and that's what I teach in my business school, the biggest single mistakes that the companies do when they arrive here is they don't understand Asia. They expect and believe that everything works in London as it works in Manila, Ho Chi Minh, or Shanghai. That's absolutely not the case. So there are 3 single biggest mistakes that companies do when they come here. First, they don't understand the concept of micromanagement, okay? I don't say this in a negative way. I say this in a way that, especially when you hire a young team, it's their first job, right? They're not used to connect the dots among problems, etc. So you need to have a manager, which is use a lot of emotional intelligence to understand who is the best fit for the teams. That's something that people really look after, right? So at the very beginning, you have to literally follow them step by step. But again, Filipino are the most trainable people in the world. So they pick up very, very fast. But if you don't do it at the beginning, the fundamentals are not there. The second is the team. People think that they can have the most amazing backend, the most amazing voice system, magic will work. It's absolutely not the case. Asia, it's a very sociable place where people are productive. They like the environment where they work. I spend 99% of my time with the team. I don't talk to customers anymore, right? 99% of my time is invested to training people, making sure they are the right fit for the organization. Unfortunately, fired the people that have to be fired very few times, but keep the harmony in the team and making sure everybody has the clear vision of who they are and where they belong to, and motivating them, right? But if you have a strong team in a country like the Philippines, you can achieve anything. And I mean anything. And the last biggest single mistakes is they don't understand the concept of relationships, right? Time in Asia has a different span than the Western world. We believe everything should work like boom, boom, like very fast, proposal, etc. That doesn't work like this, hey. Good or bad is not for us to say, right? It's just the way it works. I personally like it, right? But I know people that get extremely frustrated with this. They need to understand that there are certain dynamics into meetings, certain dynamics into dealing with people, certain dynamics to hiring people, certain dynamics into training people, So they have to come here with a little peace of mind and patience that the velocity of the things that works in the Western world, that's not how it works here. And it's not because of inefficiencies, it's cultural roots. It's absolutely cultural roots coming from various reasons that I long to explain. The very first step is hiring the right, like law firm for the corporation, the right staff leasing company. It's very easy. If you are in an outsourcing business, it's very easy to do background checks. I mean, there are 20, 30 top staff leasing companies here. Everybody knows who they are. They know they're legit. They are very good in what they do. I should hire them. Same for the law firm, etc. And then obviously are the hiring the right team, and then on the office space. So on the office space, obviously, I will recommend to use Flyspaces. The price per seat through us can go as low as $100 per month, up to plus infinite. I guess the most expensive office that we have, which is a stone away from our office here, is on a $350 a month. Is a top location, top internet provider, top security, top floors, top fit out, etc. But there is no need for people that are maybe in just sensing the market. There is no need to invest a considerable amount of money in office space, etc. You can start small and then grow rapidly, right? The market is very dynamic. It's super ready to receive small companies and big companies. The flexible office space solution that we provide, Philippines is a market extremely driven by BPO for office space. Of course, the majority of our customers are call center related. In every market where we operate, we have like regular company. By regular, I mean operating company. We have marketing agency, law firms, consultants, accounting firms, right? So overall, not only for outsourcing, we believe that the world is shifting on the sharing economy. Or like, why would you, conceptually wise, rent an office for 3 years, so you're locked for 3 years. You have no chance to break the lease. If you do, you lose deposits and advances, which, by the way, are 6 months. It's already working capital, leaving your cash, your bank account, going in somebody else's hands. And why would you commit for 3 years and invest then CapEx to fit out the office and so on, while you have plenty of very good operators that today you can arrive, open your laptop, bring your people, connect the cable, and off you go. You can start answering phone calls or do whatever business you do. So it should be a no-brainer for companies, especially when they start, to take a flexible office space solution instead of conventional. And I have millions of applications. Again, it's not only for outsourcing. Upwork is only for freelancers. So what they can do if they want to hire freelancers, they can go on Upwork and hire them directly, right? Obviously, I'm not a big fan of too many layers of outsourcing personally. So if you want to have your own team of, let's say customer services for a US-based company, the very first step, get a staff leasing company. You have them hiring your 5 resources. They will do all the payroll, they will do all the paperwork, so you're in a very safe position. You just need to give them access to your system, whatever you're using or backend. I strongly recommend, obviously, you fly somebody here from the US. You take advantage of our amazing beaches and resorts that we have. Meantime, and then you train the people, and then off you go. It doesn't require much more than that. So if people they are interested in our flexible office space solutions, they can go on our website, which is www.flyspaces.com. They can email us directly, or they can even select an office space they want to inquire directly. I understand people from the United States maybe are not familiar with the areas, but they have questions on and that's how we operate very well. We have email or phone calls like, I need to avoid traffic in Manila between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. of the day after. What would you recommend me to place the office space? These are sort of things that we can help you with. Right. So just going on the website, selecting the office space directly, or email us directly, call us directly. We answer from the US, we answer to maximum 24 hours. But if you are based in Asia, we answer basically within the day. Relatively low, because generally is the staff leasing company is the first landing pod. But then we get the client from the staff leasing company. So the staff leasing company will set up the system, hire the people, but then they need office space. So we ultimately get the client from the staff leasing company. So they don't go directly to us because we don't provide the staff leasing services, but they go to the staff leasing company, then the staff leasing company send them to us, right?